Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali on TV1.
And a very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Newsline Live. And my guest this evening is Mr. Pasan Wijeyawardhana, who is a economic research analyst at the award-winning Advocata Institute, amongst some other jobs he has. Very good evening to you, Pasan, and welcome to the program.
Welcome.
Thank you. And tell me, you also at something else, the CFPA. What does the CFPA do?
Yeah, so good evening, Mr. Faraz. And CFPA is a kind of a newly established organization. It's a kind of NGO.
Okay.
And I would like to say it's a youth-run or youth-led brain hub. Okay,
right.
So there are 10 areas, basically the 10 policy areas,
yeah.
And youth people, the brain, 10 youth brains are collaborated together and addressing policy issues in these 10 areas from youth mindset.
From a youth perspective.
Yeah, youth perspective.
Okay. What we wanted to ask you, and we can ask you this, are the youth concerned that the prices, the rupee is strengthening against the other currencies, but the prices aren't coming down? Are your youth, are they concerned about that?
Yes, of course. Not only youth, I think everybody is aware about these rupee appreciation, and they are concerning about the prices and everything.
Yeah.
But the problem is the people, as you mentioned earlier, the people are arguing that yes, rupee is appreciating. What's happening to this price? Prices are not going down. No. So actually, I want to explain it in two dimensions. Mm-hmm. The one is, Mr. Faraz, there is a natural reason or natural phenomenon. Yeah. The other one is an artificial phenomenon.
Right.
The natural phenomenon is, now economic theories are itself mentioning that always the speed of the rupee appreciation is always a greater value compared to the speed of the price reduction. That means always price reduction will take some time after the rupee appreciation according to the basic economic theories. Now for an example, okay, let's say, Mr. Faraz, you are doing a kind of a shoe manufacturing company. But when you are doing shoe manufacturing company, you are not following this JIT mechanism. No, JIT means just in time mechanism. That means if you want to produce a shoe today, you can purchase raw materials today or yesterday, right?
You can do planning.
Yeah. So such things are not planned to do, or such things are not happening inside the shoe factories or any other factories. So if we want to produce shoes today, then we have to take raw materials, or we have to purchase raw materials at least 3 months earlier, or 1 month earlier, or maximum 2 months earlier as well, right? The thing is, suppose you are going to produce shoes today, you have purchased raw materials 3 months ago in the last quarter. Then in the last quarter, dollar rate was 360 rupee value in terms, dollar value in terms of rupees, it was 360, but now it is 290. That means 70 rupee reduction is there.
Yeah.
People arguing that why these sellers can't give this benefit for the customers.
Correct.
Because why?
And why is that then?
Yeah. So now see, in last 3 months we have imported leather to do this production of the shoes at 360. So can we give that benefit today itself? No. So definitely it will consume some time to give the benefit for the customers.
So that's good. So the public asking the question, when are the prices likely to come down? When?
Yeah, exactly.
I know you can't say an exact date, but when will it start gradually to happen?
Yeah, it will happen with months and months. Within next 1 or 2 months, this benefit can be taken to the customers. But the problem is, when this is passing to the customers, sometimes dollar rate can stay at 280 or 275 as well, right? At that time, again, people will ask, okay, prices have gone down, but this is not sufficient. People can say like that. So that is also because there will be some time consumption to pass this benefit to the customer, right?
So it can't be done overnight.
Overnight, yes, of course. The basic theory is the speed of rupee appreciation is always greater than the speed of the price reduction.
Right. That's kind of understood. But here comes the joker in the pack. The IMF have given us a certain targets of revenue that the government must achieve. So clearly, if the prices drop, the consequent taxes that the retailers and the businessmen pay the government will be less. So then we will fail what the IMF want us to do. How do you balance the books?
Yeah, of course, Mr. Faraz. Now, when talking about this inflation and IMF targets, IMF has asked us to reduce the inflation to single-digit number, that means 4% to 6% value by the end of 2024.
Yeah.
But if we have read that June 1st monetary review report issued by the central bank, it clearly mentioned that we are performing well in terms of the inflation reduction, that what we have already expected.
Right.
So IMF has given a target for us to achieve single-digit inflation by the year of 2024. But yes, of course, central bank is predicting that they can achieve that particular target, single-digit number of inflation by this year end. So they have already nicely presented a nice article which is showing how inflation has fluctuated in the last few months and last few years. So it says that yes, the curve started from the top and it was showing a slight decline. Now, I can remember in 2022, Mr. Faraz, September inflation was reported as 70%, which is a quite big number, double-digit number. Even before 1990s, we had such double-digit numbers. Even in 1990s, that decade, we had double-digit numbers. But this is the first time in recent history that we are seeing this kind of double-digit numbers. But however, 70% reduced up to 50%. Then it reduced up to now. Currently, the inflation rate is, according to CCPI, around 30%. So they are predicting that, the central bank is predicting that they can reduce this up to 4% to 6% range by the end of this year. So I think this will be possible.
Yeah.
But Mr. Faraz, I forget to mention the artificial reason for this absence of price reduction scenario.
Yeah.
Right, the artificial reason is, I can remember we have done a small mini research to explore how the sellers are perceiving on these prices and everything. I met one seller, I'm not mentioning the type of the good that this particular seller is selling. Right. However, he said that we people, that means his own industry, we people are billionaires now. I asked why. Right, he said that previously with the rupee depreciation and everything, cost has gone up. Because of that, they have increased the prices up to certain level. Now rupee has already appreciated, cost of the production has gone down, but still they are not ready to change the prices because they are profit motive people. They want to enlarge the profit. So they are taking kind of a misusers from this kind of a crisis situation as well. There are a few such sellers, not all, but few such sellers. So that is an artificial reason why the prices are still at a low level.
So what about the Consumer Affairs Authority then? What kind of role can they play?
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Faraz. Government or these consumer authorities can intervene to the market and impact on it. Sometimes they will be punished to 2-3 shopkeepers and they will be arrested, but it will not be a good solution in terms of price reduction. So in this instance, according to my perception, Mr. Faraz, intervention of the government in a legal manner is not a good thing to do.
Right.
We can do it, but it will be not much productive. But rather than, it is better to create kind of a ethical threat on the sellers.
Right.
For an example, if sellers are selling the products at higher prices, then government can take decision to import at low price. Then obviously, with the short term of time period, even local sellers will tend to reduce the prices to the imported price level, right? It will be a short-term solution. That is a way to threat these sellers in an ethical way.
And from your personal experience and when you examine previous history and so on, do you think the Consumer Affairs Authority has the nerve and the commitment to do this?
Yeah, it should be done from the top of the organization. Top of the organization means the organization is country and top of the organization is the government. And ministers have to decide whether to import or not, right? So then it should down scale to the consumer authorities and everything. But however, the advisors should give proper advices at the moment. But however, it was happened earlier as well. When egg prices are going for the 65 prices, then government has decided to import and control that competition. And so by importing products, what will happen? We can expand the competition in the market. Automatically, local sellers have to sell the product at the real price.
Talking about imports, the government continue to have various controls on importation. And the automobile industry, for example, is virtually non-existent. Even spare parts are difficult to obtain. And I know because I've been waiting for one part for more than 6 months. At what point do you think the government will allow or reopen the import restrictions?
Yeah, well, Mr. Faraz, according to IMF report, one of the requests what they have made is lifting these import restrictions and opening platform for the free market, free trade with the international sector. Right, of course we can do it, but the thing is, when we are opening our trade to the open world and when we are removing these restrictions, definitely it will create an extra demand for the dollars in future.
Right.
Now actually this rupee appreciation happened basically because of two reasons, Mr. Faraz. One is one is a reduction of the dollar demand, the other one is increase in the dollar supply.
Yeah.
Right. Now when we take the dollar demand, what are the reasons why dollar demand has gone down? Because we are not paying loans. According to the chart number 6 in the IMF report, it is clearly mentioned in that we haven't paid $2.8 billions of the loans for foreign sector after the announcement of this temporary stoppage of the loan repayments.
That was on the 12th of April 2020.
Yeah, to March of 2023.
Yeah.
Right. And in addition to that $2.8 billions, we haven't paid 1.2 billions of US dollars, which were liable to pay for sovereign bonds on April 18th.
Yeah.
So altogether, the non-paid loans or unpaid loans can be cited as around $4 billions. So with that, dollar demand has gone down.
You mean 4 billion is the outstanding repayments?
Yeah,
not the value.
Within this period, this period, right? And within this period, unpaid loan amount is that one. In addition to that, we have to pay the normal loans, right? Other one is, as you mentioned, we have restricted imports. Then again, demand for the dollars have gone down.
Customs revenue will be down.
Because of?
Because there's nothing to tax. Import duty on what? There's nothing coming in.
Yeah. However, import duty tax will be coming as a third or fourth tax revenue source in Sri Lankan context, right?
But also, can I just stop for 1 second there? Corporate taxes. This is a shrinking economy. Companies are struggling. I mean, I had a call from somebody who told me that their sales are down by 50%. And that's astounding. It's a very, very big company. But so therefore, their contribution in terms of income tax will also be affected. So where these are, it seems to be all very complex.
Yeah, it became complex because of the wrong decisions at the beginning now, right? If doctor has given a wrong treatment for a patient, to give a rebirth for that person, definitely we have to give kind of a high pressure vaccine. So that was the thing what has happened, right? As I mentioned earlier, in 2022, there were lots of economic stresses and the government as well as central bank has taken too much of actions to stop this burden or to reduce this burden. That's why they have tightened the monetary policy and increased the interest rates. That also attack people. And that's why the parliament and government has decided to increase the tax rates and all these things and tighten the fiscal policy. In 2022, we have given a high pressure vaccine, right? But, that works, Mr. Faraz. Right, that's why June 1st report is clearly mentioning that Sri Lanka will come back to the normal situation by the latter part of 2023. They are saying that okay, they can relax these interest rates and relax this monetary policy. They can relax this fiscal policy. That means in future we can expect reduction in these tax rates. In future we can expect most probably after 2023 end. Okay, from the beginning of 2024, not everything but most of the aspects will come to the normal situation back again. Now we can see on June 1st central bank has announced and they have reduced to our interest rates, that means SDFR and SLFR rates by 2.5%.
Yeah.
If central bank has reduced it, definitely commercial banks also have to do it. That means again gradually some of the concessions are moving to the general public. Until that we have to tolerate.
Thank you very much for your question. 0772 300 305. And here's one, Pasan. It says here, by the year end or so, we have to start paying our foreign loans, etc. Then, will the Sri Lanka rupee still be appreciating or the opposite?
If that happen, definitely rupee will be depreciated. If that happen. But the thing, yes.
But we have to start paying them.
Yeah. Actually, there is a company called BMI in Singapore. They are saying that Sri Lanka should pay these loans by this fourth quarter in this particular year, 2023. But I don't think, however, they are saying that if we are going to pay our loans by the end of this year, definitely this will surpass even 370 as well. Right, but that means dollar rate will surpass 370 as well if you are going for that loan repayments again. There is a one prediction, and there is another company called First Capital Holdings. They are saying that we will be reaching to again 370 or 380 level if we are going to remove these import restrictions in future. Actually, government is planning to remove import restrictions for 100 items this month onwards. Right, so Fitch rating. They have said that before arrival of IMF, they mentioned that this rate will increase up to 390 level. So all these pictures are very big pictures. So people can think that we will be taking a U-turn again back to the situation. But I personally don't think that will happen as it is, because predictions can be done by any organization according to their own criterias. But these criterias can be changed with the global economic fluctuations and the local economic fluctuations, as well as with the people's expectations, that means speculation.
Yes, but if we go back to our original question on the program this evening, which is at what point will the prices come down? Then, if we start repaying our loans at the end of this year, and the pressure is being put on the exchange rate and on our reserves, basically, then the prices are not going to come down anyway.
Yeah, let me to explain. Actually, only two problems are remain at the moment, Mr. Faraz. One is import restrictions. The other one is loan repayments.
Okay.
But I personally think that government will not take a quick action to repay the loans, or central bank will not take actions to repay the loans within this year, because still we are in the process of restructuring loans. What we are trying is to extend the loan duration or to take a haircut for the loans. So I don't think that we will go for the loan repayments in big bulks within this year, right? That's the one thing. And the second thing is regarding the import restrictions. Even though we are going to remove import restrictions, of course, dollar demand will go up, and this value can go up. Okay, the dollar value can go up. But I personally believe that this will fluctuate within the range of 280 to 320, 280 to 320 for about another 3-4 months. But it depends. It depends actually. Now, Mr. Faraz, country is having an excess amount of reserves. Okay, as I mentioned, we haven't paid loans, and through the import restrictions, we have saved certain amount of dollars within the country. At the same time, with regard to exports, especially with regard to service exports, we have increased our service exports by 2% in last March. As well as that, with regard to the foreign worker remittances, we have increased it.
When you say we've improved our exports, is that in terms of
service
quantity?
exports?
Okay.
Service exports, there is a kind of a drop down in the merchandise exports. Like that, as well as that, we have received IMF support plus World Bank support as well. So altogether, around 6 billion of the cash inflows, dollar inflows, were observed in the first quarter of 2023. That means, Mr. Faraz, this is a good situation. Our dollar demand is very low. Our dollar supply is very high. Not very high, but very high, comparatively high. So if we use this excess amount of the dollars and pump to the economy to boost the supply in the economy, then definitely we can increase the dollar supply in future as well.
But what about my manufacturer, my industrialist, who's telling me that his business is down by 50%?
Yeah.
What happens to him?
That's why I'm suggesting government, I'm proposing government use this excess amount of resource immediately to boost the economy. This is a good situation.
By doing what?
Sorry?
How will they boost it?
Yeah, by providing subsidies, but it shouldn't be a permanent subsidy, should be a kind of a temporary subsidy, especially the 70% of the economy is handling by the SMEs. Okay, kind of tax concessions can be given for those SMEs, especially.
But I'm glad you mentioned it, because the hospitality, the leisure industry, the hotel industry, lots of SMEs there, and they have now started getting letters of demand. Because they haven't been able to pay during the lockdown period and Corona time. They only were given, the only help they got from the government was this moratorium. But it's a moratorium that it just means it's temporary reprieve. Now that period's finished, and these guys are being asked to pay, and if they don't pay, they're being taken to court. Do you envisage a situation where the government will be able to afford to write off some of the interest and so on these SME loans?
I think I said kind of answer earlier as well. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, now the situation is getting better, and in June 1st report, Central Bank clearly mentioned that they can relax the monetary policy as well as they can relax the fiscal policy after the end of the 2023.
Yeah.
That means, Mr. Faraz, interest rates will further go down. Now interest rates have gone down by 2.5%. That means our SMEs can borrow loans at comparatively at a low interest rate, so they can boost their economy or they can boost their financial status and business activities by borrowing loans. This is a good time. Okay, interest rates have gone down. As well as that, in future we can expect with the recovery, after looking at the recovery, government can take steps to reduce these reduce these taxes and everything. Now another tax is going to be arrived, Mr. Faraz. If you have read this particular IMF report, they mentioned that Sri Lanka should introduce property tax by the year 2025.
And what does that mean?
Yeah, it will be an extra burden because on the value of the property, the owners and everybody have to pay a certain kind of a tax. So
what, on a regular basis? Not
regular basis, but twice a year or once a year, something like
taxes?
That. Sorry?
What about the rates and taxes?
Yeah, that is a separate tax, and this will be a new tax. It will be an island-wide tax. So this is not available in Sri Lanka at the moment, but even in India, Belgium, those countries are practicing this. So actually IMF is not mentioning how should we operate this tax. It's up to you, right? What is the frequency of charging this tax? On whom are we going to charge the tax? Like that, those things have to be decided by the government. So when charging that property tax, I think government should give exceptions on SMEs who are trying to build the 70% of this economy. That's why I'm saying that relaxing fiscal policy should be happened at the end of the 2023 or at the end of beginning of 2024.
But that's absolutely astonishing. A property tax on top of everything else. I mean, people probably won't. They won't have elections now, because if you impose this property tax, you can bet your bottom dollar that you're going to lose the election. Because Does it worry you as an economic research person? Does it worry you that we have not had elections? Personally, I'm asking you, citizen Pasan, citizen of Sri Lanka. Are you worried?
I think this is my personal idea.
Of course, it's nothing to do with your organization.
Not the personal, not the political view of advocate or anywhere.
No.
This is personal idea. I personally believe that economy should recover first before the election, right? Because a change in the politicians is not the solution at the moment, but change in the policies is the major thing that should be happen. That's why we have established the CFPA, Ceylon Foundation for Policy Analysis. Youth people are struggling, youth people are shouting, but some of the facts are not available in those policies. So I think the brains should collect together and raise a voice in a decent way. So that's why we believe that policies needed to be changed, not the politicians.
I see. That's interesting. Here is lots more questions. Now then, what about, with the exchange rate coming down, if you like, the dollar exchange rate, so the rupee appreciating, what do you think will happen to the foreign remittances that are coming from our expatriate brothers and sisters working abroad? Will we experience another slowdown in the amount of money that's being sent back?
Yeah, probably it can be happen because the value of dollar is moving down. Because of that, sometimes there is a possibility for such thing to be happen. However, Mr. Faraz, I think now the rupee is appreciating now. But the speed of this appreciation is too much, as I personally perceiving, right? For an example, now few weeks ago it was around 320. Now it is 290. It's very fast. I think in such kind of a situation, the central bank intervention needed to be happen here. Actually, the overflowing is also not good to be happen, right? Over appreciation is also not good, as well as that over depreciation is also not a good thing. And if it is happening in a very fast way, it should be controlled by the government, as I feel. At one time, government intervened to the foreign exchange market, and they have purchased the excess amount of dollars in the market, and they have controlled it up to certain extent. So at this time also, since it is fluctuating in a kind of a speedy manner, it's better if central bank can intervene to the market and purchase the excess dollar supply and settle down this one. Otherwise, as you mentioned, it might affect badly for the speculations of the foreign workers, as well as that it might badly for the exporters who are bringing dollars for the country.
Well, thank you very much, Pasan, to having spoken to us today. What's your prediction based on your research? Do you think the dollar will go up to beyond 300 again?
Yeah, it can fluctuate in between 280 and 320.
What about a return to 350 plus?
I personally don't think.
Pasan Wijeyawardhana, thank you very much for being on Newsline Live. That's the way it was. Take care. Have a great evening, as best as you can, of course. And it's now time for the primetime news. But God bless you all.